Hey, this is Barrett at CorkSport. I bet you're watching this video today because you're either interested in the turbo kit or you already have the turbo kit and you're going through the install. Either way, I think this is going to be a really good video for you to understand what to expect with the new turbocharged power in your Mazda 3. So let's get to it. So you've modded your Mazda and you love it dearly and you know everything about it, but you're ready for more power, and honestly, I can't blame you for that. However, while adding power with a turbocharger is a fantastic idea, it does require that you adjust how you drive your Mazda because of the new power and the power band and the tuning that comes with that. And that's the point of this video, is to help you understand some of the adjustments, changes to expect with your Mazda with the new turbocharged power. So follow along and then, go out and drive your car. So let's get to it. So before we pull out and start driving the car here, let's talk about throttle response and throttle control. So the first major difference you will notice is throttle changes. The OEM tuning is very biased, meaning even though you are pushing the gas pedal about 50%, you're getting full throttle from the ECU. This makes the car feel quick because it's giving you all the power, even though you're not pushing the gas pedal all the way. This is kind of similar to what you see from those pedal commanders, where they adjust how your accelerator pedal affects the throttle position. So it's just a scalar adjustment, if you will. Now, what we did with the addition of the turbocharger and the supporting ECU tuning, we've changed the throttle response and control so that it utilizes the full range of the gas pedal. Meaning if you want full throttle, you use the whole accelerator pedal position to get full throttle. Now, this is useful and important because it gives you, the driver, a lot more control and response when you are in different driving situations. So in all these different driving situations, having the full pedal available to you means that you have, better resolution, better control, more fine control, and so you can really choose the power output during that. So last thing is, I've drove a lot of cars with varying power levels, boosted with that. So low power boost, mid power boost, high power boost, 200 to 650 horsepower. And trust me when I say you want that throttle response to be intuitive, predictable, linear. It makes the car a lot more fun to drive and a lot easier to drive. So, all right, let's go drive the car. We're gonna try to show you some of this, and then we'll have some more things that we talk about with power delivery and suggestions of how to actually drive your Mazda with the new turbocharged power and response. So we're out on the street now. We're in third gear, about 3,300 RPM. And so very small throttle inputs are gonna give me a decent amount of acceleration, as you can see. Now, if we want to accelerate more moderately, then your throttle input's gonna be intuitive. Give it a little bit more throttle. Now that's getting close to about half the throttle pedal. So if you want more power, you want full throttle, then you're gonna have higher resolution. Getting through the whole RPM range, you're gonna use your whole foot to use the throttle to really adjust how much power output you're asking from the car. So with that, you can sit here at 2,500 RPM, about 57 mile an hour in fifth gear, and you can cruise. And if you want to accelerate a little bit, it's just a little bit of throttle input to pick up a little bit of speed, stay with traffic, for example. Now, say you want to pass a car. Normally you might have just kind of pushed on the throttle and got fifth to go, and that's fine up to a point, but if you really want to accelerate with the new power curve and power delivery with the turbocharged engine, you're going to want to downshift, get the RPM range up just a little bit, 35, 4,000, and then it's going to be a lot safer for you to roll into the throttle. And then you make your pass and you can shift back into fifth or sixth gear. So the whole idea here is that we don't want to lug the engine. too much. With a turbocharged engine, with forced induction in general, it's easier for you to add a lot more load to the engine at those lower RPMs, which it's not necessarily dangerous, but it is harder on the engine because you can force more airflow, more cylinder pressure through the engine. And you know, we just want you guys to have the best possible experience with this, and so that takes some adjustments on your driving. So now let's talk about power delivery. So with a turbocharged engine, you know, you may be expecting all this boost lag, and that's fair to expect that. But with our system, the way we've designed it is to have good response, good power delivery, and a good power curve through the whole RPM range. And one of the things that we specifically did with our tuning and power delivery is we've used a taper up boost curve. So boost is going to be relatively low, about 5-6 psi, you know, below 4,000 RPM, and then it's going to increase and boost as RPM increases. So we did this for a couple reasons. Most importantly, it's safe. We keep the boost level down in the lower RPM range, and that helps keep cylinder pressure down, helps keep torque in check. So that's protection of your drivetrain, your clutch, the rotating assembly inside the engine. And then with the increasing boost with increasing RPM, you're going to keep a pretty flat torque curve, which makes the car feel really smooth and linear, fun to drive, and feel faster as RPM increases because your horsepower is increasing as RPM increases. So let's talk about where you drive the car, what RPM doing what. You know, if you want to putt around or cruise on the highway, then perfectly safe, perfectly fine to cruise around in that 2,000 to 3,000 RPM range. The volume level is going to be really tolerable. You're going to have your better fuel mileage down there, of course, and this is perfectly safe on the engine since you're not putting a lot of power down, a lot of load on the engine, right? Like we already talked about, if you want to accelerate or pass, you know, shift down, get your engine RPM up a little bit, give us some throttle, and you can get past, right, without going full throttle. Now, if you want to go drive your car in a spirited fashion, whether this is a track day, autocross, or your favorite backcountry road, then the car is really going to want to live in that 4,000 to 6,000 RPM range. This is where it's making its best power, and this is also where it's safest to drive the car. Engine RPM is safe in the sense that you're not running extreme torque or extreme cylinder pressure, but you still have that power on tap to make the car feel fast and responsive. So I'm going to shift down, I'm up at 4, now I can really get into it. The car is very responsive. As you can see, when you're up in that RPM range, the car is responsive, the power delivery is responsive, throttle is on point. So this is where the car is really happy, and that's why we say this is the best place to actually drive the car and push it. Now, it's not to say that you have to always drive up there, but that is the best place to do it if you really want to enjoy the full potential of the turbo kit and your Mazda. Don't mind the tire scraping. We got 255 40s on 18 by 9.5s on our 3rd gen Mazda 3 here, and you know, it rubs a little bit. It's okay. We got lots of meat under it to handle all of that. I would say since we are talking about tires, a good high performance summer, extreme performance summer, you know, in the 235 to 255 range is going to be a good setup for this car with this power. First and second are going to put that power down pretty good. Actually, let's show that, right? Also, you might find that driving the car with the traction control off actually will result in better driving experience. And that's because any type of tire slippage, or if your wheel is a bit misaligned, the car is going to step in and try to correct your traction control. It's going to try to neuter the power, and you'll feel that. So that's basically the 101 on driving your Mazda with the CorkSport turbo kit installed. Power delivery is different, your power curve is different, your throttle response is different, and so that just requires some adjustments. And those adjustments are going to be a lot more intuitive than you think. You just need to go out and drive your car. Honestly, just spend a day out on some backcountry roads, on the highway, and just learn how the car wants to be driven. It will tell you. We've gone through thousands and thousands of miles. I'd say at the time of this filming, we have over 25,000 miles between 2 street-driven test cars and uncountable numbers of miles and dyno runs and track testing with our dedicated track and race car. So we've really gone through the paces to fine-tune this and make this the most fun to drive and safe to drive. So you got your turbo kit, or you're looking to buy it, pull the trigger on it, plan a weekend or two to get it installed, and then go drive your car. Learn it, enjoy it, and honestly, you're probably going to fall in love with the car all over again. So with that, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you in making that decision, and we appreciate your time. Spirit, tuning out.